this is a post from Joyless Orwell Trump wig wearing Reed, and she has shared a post from a meteorologist, a science man, a sun monster expert out in Florida trying to scare people. And obviously, I had to look at his account directly, and it's absolutely insane. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would go a long way. It would help me out. It would cost you nothing. If you want to help me out even more and spend a little bit of money, of course, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But Joyless Reed here says, proud of the weatherman from my former station, NBC6, Steve Mack, NBC6, for calling out Ron DeSantis on his nonsense. Let's fight the sun monster, she says. And I'm only learning this right now, but this guy has his entire career, I guess, is now dedicated to the climate crisis and the sun monster shenanigans. And I've always made a point of being fairly kind to the meteorologists, at least in the Bay Area, because they've never really injected politics into their reporting. It's always been about the weather. I followed a couple of them on Instagram, and they had never gone off the deep end. It was like some fashion photos and some weather reports, but it never got this bad. And we'll look at this. But then I have some other posts directly from his Instagram page where his whole job is to just cry about the sun monster.
On Thursday, we reported on NBC6 News that the government of Florida was beginning to roll back really important climate change legislation. And
government of Florida was beginning to roll back important climate change legislation. It's obviously obvious that he just means, I guess they're getting defunded. All of this Green New Deal scam, NGOs, EV pushes, all of that nonsense might be stopping. And they do this with the Floyd anniversary stuff. Oh, we need police reform. And they don't tell you what they actually want to do, but apparently this is very important, right? I mean, this guy is absolutely insane.
And really important climate change language, in spite of the fact that the state of Florida over the last couple of years has seen record heat, record flooding, record rain, record insurance rates, and the corals are dying all around the state. The entire world is looking to Florida to lead in climate change.
That's just made up. How could you? The entire world is looking to Florida to lead in ushering in communism, I guess.
And our government is saying that climate change is no longer the priority it once was.
And are we really going to pretend that this is not a political hit job, right? You work for NBC, and I've given the meteorologist credit, but I've also, on the opposite end of that spectrum, called out ABC for being one of the worst. Now, NBC is really bad too. I think they tried to get libs of TikTok locked up, allegedly, right? So they're all really, really awful. But this guy is absolutely terrible, and there's no hiding this, right? You want to pretend like it's not political? Give me a break, bro. That's why you're literally talking about the government, right? Because they're on their last leg. And anything that happens, as we know, drought, climate change, flood, climate change, fire, climate change, hurricane, tornado, it literally doesn't matter. Everything can be blamed on the sun monster.
Please keep in mind, the most powerful climate change solution is the one you already have in the palm of your hands, the right to vote. And we will never tell you who to vote for, but we will tell you this. We implore you to please do your research and
No, he doesn't mean that. He does not want people to do research, right? I guess maybe they've probably got it set up so dark that you'd have to sift through page 7 or 8 of DuckDuckGo and steer clear of Google, because Google's even going to put the little climate pledge on the bottom. But it's all, look, bro, sure, the climate is changing, but what are you going to do, right? You're going to charge more money. You're going to stop driving cars. You're going to push electric vehicles. You're going to tell people to ride the bus. You're going to eat the bugs. You're going to live in the pod. What do you want people to do? These people would have you stop living your life to save the planet, apparently. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Oh, we're going to save it for our future. But they would also tell you not to have kids because of climate change. It just doesn't make any sense. And these are the people, right? This is a male awful, as it were. And I've also noticed, maybe not a big deal, but a lot of these people are now wearing these thick rim glasses because it makes them look more smarter.
Know that there are candidates that believe in climate change and that there are solutions, and there are candidates that don't.
Okay, so there you have it. This guy is obviously a political activist. He would not have this job if he was going to shoot it straight at all. But obviously, but there's more. So here is his page, his Instagram page. I haven't looked at his Twitter. I don't really use that too much. I probably should, but that's a different story. And you can see he's just got a couple dozen posts, not too much, but it's all about the climate crisis. Oh, it's so hot. And, here I am with Al Roker. But it's just an entire page of him crying about the sun monster. And, of course, you will also notice that he's clearly selling a movie. So if he doesn't continue with this hysteria, then perhaps you won't go watch his movie.
So far this season, actually this year, 91 degrees on March 18th. The last time our low temperature was 80 degrees or warmer, November 11th, and we are forecasting a low temperature of 80 next Thursday morning, just in time for the start of rainy season. With that higher humidity, our low temperatures tend to be higher. The last time the high temperature was 96 degrees back on September 13th, and that is our forecast for Saturday. Today, 87, nowhere near the record of 95, but we were closer to 90 in Fort Lauderdale. 93 tomorrow, the record is not.
So, he's kind of disproving himself. It's not. I looked through a couple of his posts. I do have some pulled up, some of my favorites of the bunch, but it literally doesn't matter, right? If it's the high, it's the high of all history. That means climate change, but also it went down, but it's still climate change. Don't worry about it.
It's 94, 96 Saturday, the record is 96, 92 on Sunday, the record is 94. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday records in jeopardy, but Saturday might be our best bet. 96 on Saturday, feeling like about 105 in some spots. Hot and humid. You're going to notice more cloud cover, but the front is
It's hot and humid in Florida? Whoa, crazy. We better pay a little bit more money.
coming through basically dry. Just a couple of spotty showers, 10%. Then on Mother's Day, 92. It's still warm, but a little bit less humid and a little bit more sunshine. The hottest so far.
Okay, there's more. Don't worry. Here he is talking to, I guess, one of his colleagues on another show about his movie that you should, of course, go watch and model your entire life behind.
Our NBC6 meteorologist, Steve McLaughlin. Hey, Steve.
So good to see you. How are you?
This is not even remotely authentic. Bro, it's like you got this chubby lady and this weird effeminate guy with the thick rim glasses. Oh, they're so happy. They're so happy. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Now let's talk about the death of the world because of the sun monster.
This is the first time we're working together, so this is exciting for me.
That's right. This is my first stop on South Florida Live since I've been working here in Miami.
I love it, and I'm happy that we're doing this together. In one word.
So he's gone to a different show to promote his Doomsday film, which I think we've already seen a couple times. And we remember as well that several, I think, national parks or something had to take signs down that said it was all going to be underwater by 2020. Of course, that didn't happen.
What do you hope people take away from watching this documentary?
That's great. Can I do 2 words?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Awareness, hope. Because awareness is this is happening. If someone tells you it's not happening, they are either mistaken or they're lying to you. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple.
I would probably okay. Look, sure, the climate is changing, but what are you pitching that we do about it? Right? I mean, you're not just going to stop everything. I don't know. I'm obviously no doctor. I'm no expert. I'm no scientist. But it literally doesn't matter. It gets hot. It gets cold. And you guys are lying. So even if this is all real and we only have 12 years to live, you've already run out of your credibility. So I would rather perish and not buy what you're selling again. Well, I didn't buy it one time. But nobody should ever be buying any of this nonsense. Or blocking up traffic. Or throwing paint on paintings. Just ruining things, right? That's another thing, right? Obviously, Palestine, Gaza, whatever, there's protest, BLM, notoriously, obviously. We just passed the anniversary of Fentanyl Floyd. right? So this is another thing, the Stop Oil protesters, and I guess this guy is probably really stupid, and he doesn't know how manipulative and evil this is, but he knows what he has to do to get the job. So he probably doesn't realize the levels of insanity, but maybe he does. I truly don't know.
And hope. And the greatest climate change solution is the one that we all have. We are born with it here in the United States, or we earn it when we become a citizen, the right to vote. And I can't tell you who to vote for. I can only say, please do your research. There's people out.
Yeah, actually, scratch that. He probably knows exactly what's happening because he is clearly a Democrat operative. And there are several posts on his Instagram page where he says the exact same thing. Go vote. Oh, some people don't believe in climate change, right? Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked. But my point was about, climate change is real, and some candidates know it's real and some don't, or some deny it. But it's the same thing with the Transformers. If you have to keep saying it, that probably means it's not true.
Hey, we want to tell you about a big event coming up this weekend. We are so proud of a 90-minute documentary that we produced earlier this year called Climate in Crisis. And we have shown various versions, various lengths, mainly on our digital platforms. But we're going to air this one, the full 90-minute version, on NBC6 this Saturday from 1 to 2:30. There's tons of topics. Literally everything climate change related from 2023 is in here. Record heat, record rain, sea level rise, wild.
Everything climate change. I mean, that's literally everything climate change related is literally everything, right? I mean, the air is racist, right? We had an old fat man dressed up as a lady in a Navy suit telling you that the air was racist.
Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. This Black History Month, I'm pleased to partner with OMH in advancing better health through better understanding for Black communities. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities.
It is going to take a generation of image rehab for these zealots and the entire Democratic establishment.
Fires, stronger hurricanes, rapidly intensifying storms, coral reefs, managed retreat, climate gentrification, and
climate gentrification. What the hell does that mean? I guess you have to watch the movie to find out.
Microplastics. Plus, we talked to our hurricane expert, John Morales, and Bill Nye the Science Guy, my new friend, about some of their...
Yeah, Bill Nye the Science Guy is also going to be there, and he will deny the reality of man, woman, child, but he will tell you that the planet's warming and you're all going to die if you don't do exactly as they say.
And we simply can't stress enough the connection between the rain we got 1 year ago today and climate change. Remember, last year by this point, we had already started what ended up being a record-shattering year of heat. And we know that for every 1 degree the temperature goes up, we increase our potential moisture by...
We don't know that. You just made it up and you are completely untrustworthy. And we're now at the point where the schools that these people come from are also untrustworthy. So you just made, oh, well, we know that now. No, we don't.
4%. And you may have heard the term rain bomb. It's not...
Oh, yeah. I have heard the term rain bomb. Very recently. That's why California lost $24 billion and have a massive budget deficit, is because of the rain bomb.
What we didn't anticipate is these rain bombs in December, January, February, and March, these atmospheric rivers.
An official term. It's a term we use to suggest when we get a ton of rain in a very short period of time.
And sorry, I think I was probably talking over it, and as we know that you can't really rewind on an Instagram post, but he said that it's not an official term, right? It's just admitting that it's all made up. The rain bomb, right? But it sounds scary, right? It sounds real. I'm on TV, so you probably trust me. And rain bombs sound scary. Atmospheric rivers, we remember that too. It's all made up.
This is last year. This is how we got to the record-setting 113.61 inches, the wettest Fort Lauderdale has ever seen. Of course, the big month was...
But do you think that if it had been the driest February the driest time that Fort Lauderdale had ever seen, they wouldn't also blame that on climate change?
April, 31.22 inches. We had another one of those rain bombs in July, ended up with 9.12 inches, and another one in November. And that one in November put us over the top as the wettest city in the United States. And then the other problem is the water has nowhere to go because of sea level rise. We're going to talk more about 1 year ago in the coming hours.
Every single thing this guy does. And here's the last one. So his Instagram, of course, doesn't have that many followers. It doesn't have that many posts. I assume he's probably a little bit more, a little bit bigger on Twitter, a little bit more active on Twitter, and of course on television. But the entirety of his profile is based around fear-mongering climate change and selling tickets to his movie or whatever. Climate change, climate crisis, like all this. And this is how he got the... And then, of course, we would never tell you who to vote for, but we will tell you this. Some people are in on this agenda with us.
2020 was Miami's hottest year on record, but temperatures are only part of South Florida's climate story. The ocean is rising.
But, okay. Hottest year on record. Fine. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But how can anybody believe this at this particular point? Maybe there's some weird science nerds out there who can verify this information, but you just spew these things. We just saw Governor grab-ass Andy Cuomo talking about all the numbers and the death toll and all this stuff, and it's like there's no way to fact check any of that. There's no way anybody's going to get behind the curtain. It's just these people behind the guise of NBC spewing this stuff and I guess trying to convince you that it's true.
Canals, the rivers, the Intracoastal Highway, all rising. So when you get a rainstorm, the water has nowhere to go. But then you add the king tides and you get this. Look, there's water down that way.
Is seawater being kicked up by that SUV?
Yeah. Oh, this is so sad. And I think it would all be a little bit better if, we just paid a little bit more money, right? Sacrifice your money to the sun monster.
And you can see a few minutes from high tide.
It's just this growing realization now that our fire seasons are starting sooner. They're being more intense.
1 year ago, April was really hot in Miami. So I did a story about how many records we...
So this clip is actually old. This is the first post on his Instagram from April 2021. So he's talking about April 2020, I suppose, right? And again, they're never going to come out and say, "Oh, well, we did a good job. Like that was good. Let's move on with our lives." It's constant. It's a never-ending chase. That is a dragon, right? That you will never catch.
We had broken and posted it on Twitter, and most of the comments I got back were pretty bad. Here's an example. It's called Weather.
This is my favorite one because here he is highlighting the mean comments that he got on Twitter for fear-mongering climate, and people on Twitter, on Instagram, you look at these comments, they all buy into it, whatever. It's like, "Oh, you're doing a good job. You're my hero." But over on Twitter, they're like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro?"
Steve, been going on for 4.6 billion years.
It's called weather, Steve. It's been going on for 4.6 billion years. And I really wish they had a scrubber on Instagram posts, but whatever. That's what he said. And he's highlighting some of the people who aren't buying the propaganda.
Another person writes, "I like you, but you're crazy." And finally, "Shut up, Steve." And those were some of the nicer comments.
Absolutely. So he highlighted 3 mean comments that he says are the nicer comments, which leads me to believe that most people aren't buying this propaganda, especially in Florida. And his whole thing is, he's a meteorologist. He is a, what's the exact title that he uses? Meteorologist and climate change reporter. So that's his entire thing, is to fearmonger about the sun monster. And of course, let you know that some people buy into this, and he's acting as if they're not on the exact same team, like he didn't get the talking points from the, and say what you will about Ron DeSantis, but it is obvious that he is trying to make sure that you vote for the regime. I mean, we would never tell you who to vote for, but we will tell you who believes this nonsense, or maybe doesn't even believe the nonsense, but knows where their bread is buttered and who's going to spend more money on this problem, which obviously will not fix anything and only make some of these weirdos incredibly wealthy. But this is the last one. This is my favorite one, where he literally says that we're going to spend more money on the problem.
This is my personal theme for Earth Day 2024. It's not too late. I know we have so much bad news we report on with global warming and climate change, but there is...
Those are things that you just made up to scare people and then call it bad news. Oh, it's sunny and hot in Florida. Oh, well, sun monsters here.
Also good news. We know the problem, we know we have solutions, and we know we can get to a good place if we...
No, we don't know the problem. We don't know the solutions. In fact, actually, there is no problem. It's just living life, but you're going to turn it into this thing because, of course, if you didn't, you wouldn't have a job.
We all stay focused and work together. But first, let's talk about the bad news. Our friends at Climate Central look back at the first Earth Day in 1970 versus this year. And here in Miami...
And there he goes again. These people always just cite another member of the regime as proof of their propaganda.
Here's the good news. Investment in clean energy is going up.
Yep, everybody loves the infographic. And investment in clean energy, whatever that means, it's not nuclear, right? Nuclear, whatever. That's not it. That's not clean. Can't do that. That's too dangerous. So what exactly is clean energy? Of course, he's not going to tell you, or maybe they're going to say something about it in his movie, but this is it. Just, investment in clean energy, which of course is the euphemism for ushering in communism further.